Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here today to unpack the pod. We are going to unpack the pod, episode 845, Atheist Mingle. We're going to keep it short and cute because there wasn't a lot going on. All right, let's unpack it. First, let's start out by saying it's a dude cast, you guys. You guys know we love a dude cast. No male. Like, we would love for it to be a dude cast all the time, but I digress. Like, I'm not going to get on that today. She's not there. Apparently, she's somewhere making a movie. He says she asked for a week or two off, and I said, please, God, let it be two. Let it be two, please. Mark had a few things to say about, so she's making like 10 movies. He was throwing a little bit of shade at Mel. I'll allow it. I'm fine with it. Not a big deal. But we then get to talking about the money. We talk about the money a little bit. This is the episode right after we find out Joe is making $20 million a year. This episode was very awkward. I'll tell you why, because it gave me the same feeling of, do you guys remember the people who's been here a while? Do you guys remember when Joe first had a deal with Patreon and he was supposed to be head of something, I can't remember, head of something, but Mal and Rory just seemed like, oh, okay, congratulations. Yeah. Like they weren't really happy for him. They was just like, fuck is going on? But they acted like they were happy for him. That's kind of what happened on this pod, where it's like we talked about the money and Mark made lots of jokes like he wasn't happy about it, but in a joking way. But then in the next breath, he would say something like he's straight, he's fine, his contract is fine or whatever. And that's kind of what everybody did. Everybody made mention of the money and came off like it's okay, it's not a big deal, we're happy for you, you deserve it. But then they made issues about, you getting over on us, but it's okay, like we're okay with it. So the whole episode was awkward. It was just really awkward as shit because we kept getting off the money and then getting back on the money. And then when we weren't talking about the money, Joe would go back to talking about the money and bringing it up some kind of way. And yeah, it was just very awkward. So since we're talking about the money part, let's just get into it. Let's talk about the fact that Joe makes $20 million and the crew is up there trying to sound like they don't make that much money. Are they worth it? Should they be getting compensated well since he's being compensated? Or is it fair since he's the boss and he's paying the invoices and overhead and everything that he makes a whole lot more? I'm kind of torn between the fact that he is where he is because they came in and helped when he had no one. Joe is good, but he needs other people to feed off of. So it has to be an ensemble cast. So he wouldn't be able to do it without them. Do they really deserve it when they sit quietly and don't really speak half the time on certain episodes? They all do it on certain episodes where they're just not saying nothing, or they're on their phones, or they're not, paying attention. I don't know. And then it also brings me back to Rory saying that Joe said he could get, Ish and Ice for half of what he's paying Rory and Mal. Half of what he's paying one of them. He could get both of them for it, like a twofer. And I feel like that's exactly what he did. So I do feel like Rory and Mal were making way more than these people are making because they were there from the beginning. And he was trying to be fair, and a little bit they were trying, they were all over him a little bit until they wasn't and kind of let it go to the wayside. And that is why they ended up getting cheated, because they weren't keeping up with it and they were just doing like a handshake deal, it seemed like, and they shouldn't have done it that way. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this. I don't know. I just feel like I wonder what they really are compensated? No, I don't. I really don't get into other people's money matters, you guys. Like, I don't pocket watch at all. People's money is none of my business, just like my money is no one's business. I don't care what they make. I mean, they're there, so apparently it's enough for them. So, listen, if they like it, I love it. That's how I feel about it. Then they get into the whole thing about the WNBA wanting more money. And it was kind of weird because Joe was on the side of the girls and Ish was on the side of the owners. And we have to remember, you guys, that these are all bosses up there. And by bosses, I mean they're all business owners except for Ice. Parks is an independent contractor, so I guess he's not the boss of anybody, even though he think he is, but he's not the boss. So, Ish has his business, Flip has his business, Mark Lamont Hill has his business and everything. So everybody is speaking in all these different terms. Like Queen's Flip doesn't want to kick his back in, like Mark was telling him, kick his back in, kick his back in. He doesn't want to do that because he is trying to speak as an owner as well. So he's trying to, I guess, understand, what Joe is going through. And if you really want it, then you can go out there and make it yourself. So it was just a bunch of round the way talking. And I just still feel like they all feel away. I don't know. But yeah, we get into the whole WNBA thing and the fact that Caitlin Clark didn't go to the meeting, but she wore the shirt. So obviously that means she supports them. It was a whole bunch of, to do about nothing. Then we speak about Fat Joe being at SeaWorld and the fact that the people didn't seem too enthused and then some people were leaving. You guys, Joe confused me all the time because you never know where he's going to stand with something and you never know if he is switching his sides because he's quick to switch sides. So, there's an issue. I think it's kind of just a slight issue with him and Fat Joe. I think they'll be fine. But for right now, there's a slight issue with him and Fat Joe. Fat Joe, said some off the wall type stuff about him, which wasn't cool because he had just seen him at the game. But Joe is now defending him like, oh, he was at SeaWorld. They didn't really come for Fat Joe. It wasn't a big deal. I don't think he looked crazy. And I'm like, okay, he is doing this for what? Because you're now trying to make nice with Fat Joe or whatever? Because that video looked crazy, y'all. I don't care. He's sitting up there at SeaWorld looking crazy. It looked crazy. The people looked bored. The people were leaving. I don't know what the fuck Joe was talking about, but okay. We also get into, of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Rest in peace. And I'm not going to really go into that because my baby and I are going to do a pod this weekend and we're kind of going to do a deep dive. Not too deep into what happened, but we'll discuss it on that podcast. But Ice said he don't watch The Cosby. He has never watched The Cosby. He's so young. Y'all, how young is Ice? Ice is not too young to know fucking Bill Cosby. Are you kidding me? And The Cosby Show. And he is not open to watching it. They were just like, oh, you could go back and watch the reruns. And Ice is just so temperamental and he's so, where he's just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Don't talk to me. I'm not going to do it. And it's like, dude, calm down. Like, okay, you don't want to do it. Don't do it. What the fuck? Like, I don't understand why he's so aggressive and sensitive all the time. It's a little ridiculous. But the people in the comments on the Patreon were super pissed off that Ice was not trying to watch it. He's not open, and he does seem to be very set in his ways. And I don't know, like, yeah, I don't know about Ice. I'm just gonna say that. I don't know about Ice. But yeah, he's never seen The Cosby, or I won't say never seen The Cosby. He didn't watch the show, and he's not open to watching it now. So he doesn't know really who Malcolm Jamal Warner is, but rest in peace anyway. He's an ass. We move. So, in speaking about Malcolm Jamal Warner, he played a clip from Mel's pod, and you guys, I have to say, I have to give it to Mel. The clip that I saw with her interviewing him was not bad, and y'all know she's not my fave. I think she needs to quit this podcast and just focus on that because she did very well there. So, see, it would be a win-win. She should definitely quit here and focus there because she really did do a good job with that. It was a very grown-up and insightful podcast and interview, and I did appreciate it. Now, do I think she was pulling an Adam 22? Like she was trying to capitalize off of his death by bringing it back up, the fact that she had the final interview with him, and it suddenly resurfacing and everything. Um, yeah, she did. She definitely did. However, I want to say I'll allow it because fuck Adam 22. Like, I don't care about him. I do feel like, hers was good though. You know what I mean? Like Adam 22's his stuff is where, these people killed each other, and then you have the killer coming on and the killer's mom and all that stuff. Where this is different. This is somebody who was, loved, actually speaking about death. Like it made sense for her to, rename it and all that. So I wasn't mad at her. I wasn't mad at her. And I think there was a whole thing about Joe possibly being upset with her. Could that be why she wasn't there? I don't know. I don't know. He put up a thing like he was shaking his head about her changing the heading to Malcolm's final interview or whatever. But I don't know. And then, after they played it, Mark was like, that was his final interview, right? And I think that was him trying to take a dig at Mel to bring up the fact that she changed it. And yeah, Joe let it pass. Joe was like, well, we don't know that. It was maybe one of his final interviews, one of his last interviews or whatever. So, but he didn't go into letting Mel have it or anything like that. So that was cool. I don't know. I just feel like Mark is doing a lot. Listen, doctor, good doctor, let me talk to you. Let me hold your hands while I tell you this. Slow down, okay? You are naturally funny and you naturally get people together. You don't have to keep trying so hard to have these moments. I mean, you're naturally funny. Shit's gonna come out. It's gonna be funny. We already know Mel is not your fave anymore. She did some fuck shit with you. We know. We saw it. So that's fine. But we still ended up focusing on Mel in the beginning, and she wasn't even there. And it was mainly because you kept making little comments or whatever about her. Let it go. Let it go. Okay. And just calm down on the firing at people and everything, okay? Because you don't want to make it a hostile work environment where everybody up there just kind of hates you. I mean, these are your coworkers. You have to work with them. And I know it's part of the content for everybody to argue and fight and get into it. Yeah, that's great. But in actuality, just, we like it when y'all get along a little bit too. Have some laughs. Have some laughs, but how about we stop talking over each other, you guys? It's a mess. You guys are becoming it's getting worse. The whole talking over each other, and these two are having a conversation over here while these two you can really hear on the mic, and then the laughing and ish with the giggling, and men should not giggle. Don't do that. And then the good doctor is very loud. Mark is very loud. He laughs very loud. He's very loud. And it's just a lot. You guys have to remember that sometimes people have their headphones on, and y'all do a lot in the headphones and in the mics. So let's just work on that. And then you guys, they talked about Tyler the Creator forever, probably about an hour. I don't even know if I'm over exaggerating. I don't know because I fast forwarded, but it was a long ass time that they talked about Tyler the Creator. It was a lot. Then we talked about Shannon Sharp and the fact that he got off or whatever, and Joe is, basically saying what he said before. Oh, we talked about the OnlyFans girl retiring and how much she may have gotten, and the fact that she just kind of sabotaged Shannon out of nowhere. And even if he did get off, he still looks a little crazy, says Joe, because of the whole age thing with this little girl. And you guys, what's going on? Because they were really, really praising that football guy, the head of the football or whatever it is, who's with this girl that people were concerned about, and she stopped the interview and all that. Do y'all remember? I don't remember none of their names. That was in White People News. But they were all on his team. Oh my God, why do people care that he got this young girl? Yeah, and she knows what she's doing, and she knows how to invest, and she's a young girl. And how? how are we okay with this but not okay with that? And Flip kind of brought it up a little bit later, and of course they just skirted around him again. And I probably will say it on each and every pod. I don't like the way they are treating Flip. I don't like the way Joe is constantly cutting him off, and Flip now just waits. He notices it every single time because he's not stupid, and he's just like, okay, no, it's fine, I'll wait. And it's so sad to see. It really is sad to see, because I do feel like, don't just sit up there and mistreat him. If you don't want him there anymore, pay out his contract and let him go. Like, seriously, I don't want to sit there and just watch people get mistreated. Same thing with Mel. Y'all know I'm always going to talk about letting Mel go. But seriously, like, let these people go if you really are not feeling them like that. Because Joe be doing a lot to his employees sometimes. So maybe they should make a lot of money just for putting up with that shit. Let me see. What else did we talk about, you guys? Ozzy Osbourne died. It was breaking news. And then I was pissed off because oh, wait, let's go back to the money part real quick, you guys. Parks. I had to go back and look and see if Parks had left the studio or whatever, because when they were talking about money for a long time, Parks said nothing. When I say mum's the words, because Parks is fine. He is compensating Parks. And I mean, Parks has been there the longest. He's been there. He's doing lots of jobs there with the sound and everything. So maybe he really does deserve it. But when I say mum's the word for Parks, Parks had no complaints whatsoever, nothing to say. It was definitely like he wasn't even there. But anyway, Ozzy Osbourne. At the very end, you guys, when they played the little clip from the Cosby Show, and he's going off mic and he's like, and yeah, and rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner or whatever. And then Parks like, and Ozzy Osbourne. We're not talking about Ozzy right now. Okay, now let me tell y'all, I used to watch that show that they had, the little reality show, and I enjoyed it until I found out how racist they really were. Allegedly. I'll just say that. Allegedly. Yeah, no thanks for him. I mean, rest in peace. Not rest in peace, but God, I be saying some not great stuff. I might cut that out, you guys. But yeah, Parks, stay out of our business. When we're saying rest in peace to black people, dang it, I can't say that either. We move. All right, you guys, that's it. They talked about some other things that were not noteworthy, so we'll just let it go. Joe talked about his anniversary, and they had tomahawk steaks and everything, and it was very nice. He didn't have to pay for them. He gets everything comped. So there's that. He talked about the trip, and there's 8 of them going, and he's saying he's broke. We know he's not broke. Obviously, you're not broke. You got $20 million. So we know he don't like literally have 20 million, but you know what I mean. So, it was a bunch of nothing. Of course, some funny moments that I will probably end up being like, damn it, I forgot to say that. But that's it. That's it. We're going to keep it short and cute, and we will be back for the next pod or the next Patreon. So if you are still here, you are the real MVP. Thank you very much for being here and staying. Please consider subscribing. We would love to have you be part of the Beautiful People family. Like the video. It does wonders for the analytics and algorithm, and it pushes the video out to other people so that I can get more subscribers, because we have a goal we're trying to reach, you guys. Let's make it happen. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Smooches.